Dotun Oladipo. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. A proposed salary increase for elected politicians is causing ripples in the polity. The Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission has recommended a 114% increase in the salary of elected public officials, including President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, his vice Kashim Shettima, Senator, the federal and state legislators, governors, as well as judicial officers. This, however, requires approval from the president and other cabinet members, after which it will be sent to the National Assembly through an executive bill for passage. But amid strong condemnation of the move, the special advisor to the president on special duties, communications, and strategy, Dele Alake, said President Bola Tinubu has not approved any salary increase and that no such proposal has been brought before him for consideration. Judy, statutorily, the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, RAMAFAC, they are the body that are empowered to make this move. And at this 114%, according to what I gathered, might even have a kind of retroactive effects, as in former President Muhammad Buhari and Yemi Osinbajo might benefit from this. But what this government is now saying that, look, we don't know anything about it, and even within the commission, there's kind of division on this 114% increase. How timely is this salary increase?
When you look at the wages of judges at this time, you'll be tempted to say we've been very unfair to judges. This country,
judges?
Yes. This country has been very, very unfair to judges. The wages of judges, including Supreme Court judges, is a disgrace, honestly. And we've got to do something about it. We've got to do something about it. We cannot continue to pay judges the kind of wages that we pay them and expect that corruption will not thrive. Because one of the ways to fight corruption is to actually pay people the kind of salaries that would ensure that it's much more difficult to tempt them. We know that people who are greedy, even if you give them all the money in the world, they will still be corrupt. But we have to pay judges the sort of wages that do not incentivize corruption. That is my feeling. Because I don't want us to generalize. The other day, the Revenue Commission talked about the fact that there are some civil servants who actually earn fatter salaries than the president and his deputy. Yes, and it's true. You look at in some of the government parastatals like NNPC, DMO, and the rest of them, people earn extortionate wages.
Special
they are unable to
packages
refine crude oil through our
refineries.
But their workers are among the highest paid anywhere in the country. You know, some CBN workers too, they are in that grade.
Yes.
We prefer to pay teachers peanuts. But some categories of workers in Nigeria, public servants, so we pay them way above what we pay their colleagues in other departments, in other ministries, in other agencies.
It seems like that sometimes. I don't know why.
That is a problem. That's why people struggle to get into some of those places. I want to work in debt management office.
Yes.
I want to work in this. I want to work in that. Nobody wants to go and serve as a teacher somewhere. You know?
As an undergraduate then, if you ask me, I would say NNPC. If it's not on NPC, I'll say Shell or Chevron.
When we were growing up as old men, because I'm approaching 60 now, so I see myself as an old man. Teachers were among the best paid in this country. Yes. Teachers. And in those days, the best schools were the federal government colleges.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you see someone, Shagari's children were attending FGC learning.
Yeah.
I even remember, I'm sure, when he had an accident and he lost his children. Remember? You know? So he lost the children. Even I think one of the wives died with those children. So things have changed. Teachers used to be so well respected and were paid good wages. They were the ones sending their children to the best schools. Now, I think that when you look at what some civil servants were earning, they shouldn't earn more than the commander-in-chief. Public servants, who are under his command, under his authority, they shouldn't earn higher than the boss. That is a fact. They need to take a look at that. But at this time, even if you want to make adjustments to
for something that is abnormal to be normal, people will look at this.
You can't come up with this. Of course, the Tinubu haters have gone to town again. I said, we told you he has come to loot. Somebody who looted Lagos, he has come to. They've come again. They can't point at Bala Blue comments anymore. Since the Baba came back from France, Bala Blue has not come out. They can't point at that. Baba went anywhere. They shouted Meloko. They have no sound bite to hold on to anymore. So this thing that the president did not ask for.
Did not ask for.
He did not ask for. He has not approved. He has not looked at it. I'm sure they've not even briefed him at all. They are already accusing him that he's the one who instigated it. What will Tinubu do? What is the salary that you are paying?
Let's say you want to pay 3 million per month.
What is the salary that you want? You want to impress a shareholder of one of the most profitable companies in the world. Yes. At least I've known that he's been a shareholder of that company for 10 years. I have known that. That's the company where Steve Jobs used to work. Maybe some people don't even remember. Apple, somebody who is a shareholder at Apple. So is that salary that you think, that little consequential adjustment is what will be driving him crazy? People are funny. But the truth is, this is just at the realm of suggestion. The president has to give his comment. And the president, I'm sure, at this stage, you will look at the mood of the country, you will not make the mistake of giving.
He has just raised another perspective now, you know, as if some people are saying, oh, the other sector might need to just take a look at it.
Well, we certainly need to, but let me say before I go into that the media, we really, really need to be very careful the way we give perspective to our stories. What the man in the revenue mobilization said, and very clearly to the Kebbi State governor,
yes,
was that there was a proposal, and that proposal,
it was just a slip of.
No, it wasn't a slip. It was very direct, accurate, and did not miss the point. Was that there is this proposal for a 114% increase in the salary of public officers and judges, which must go first to the state's houses of assembly. That's the starting point. Not even the president. It has nothing to do with
very tough hurdle then.
They must go, they must all
very
sign.
Tough, difficult hurdle.
They must all approve it.
They will pass it because they will all benefit.
Yes, they will all benefit, but at least it's a process, not this report that it has already been approved. It's a process. So when you say something has been approved, then you're already creating a problem.
Where there's none.
Where there should be none.
Just
At
like
least it's a process. Yes. It's a process. It says if the assembly is approved, then it can move forward. But without that approval,
Because the spokesman of this commission denied it.
So that's why there is no division within the commission.
There's no debate
it's
already.
Straight.
They've not even started deliberating.
They've not. So you must go through a process. That's one. The second one is, if you are going to benefit from certain things at this time, the government also is sensitive. You cannot tell workers that you can't increase salaries, but only pay them certain remunerations that will be like allowances for the fuel subsidy removal. And then you go ahead and say you have approved 114% increase.
While you're still negotiating with Labour and TUC.
Who is going to be that daft?
It's insensitive.
It's insensitive. And then also, which is where Nigerians should be pushing towards. This morning, videos have started going around. See the government that says it's cutting down on this, it's cutting down on that. And we saw the president of the Senate with his convoy, leaving the National Assembly. About 20 vehicles. How many policemen, DSS, soldiers with him? Those are the areas we now need to focus on.
Good for the optics.
And tackle. Let us reduce the cost of governance. It's crucial at this stage. Otherwise, all of these vehicles, and expensive ones at that, in the convoy of these big men, at 488 naira. Because government can't get it any less. It's still going to be the same price, but it's government that is now paying. We must cut down the cost of governance, and very quickly too.
I think that
we don't have to fight.
Also do something like that. I try to do something like that. As soon as they begin to settle down, it's impossible to take all the big decisions when you don't even have ministers yet. You know,
it can't even be done in one day.
Yes, it's just a gradual thing.
It took years.
You can't believe that this man is less than a month in office. And look at the movement that we are seeing. So people need to be patient. They need to be patient and not jump to conclusion so quickly. They were started abusing him about something that he knew nothing about.
That even the process has not started.
Well, let's face it, if you know the salaries of public servants, political appointees, SSG, this and that, it's been stagnant for a long time.
For a long time.
In fairness to them.
For a long time.
Yes, it's been stagnant for a long time.
Special advisors.
And the salary is nothing.
Special advisors.
It's not because for a lot of them they have opportunities to take money here, spend money or take allowances here. Look, the salaries that they earn.
I remember former Ngige, former Minister of Labour and Employment, saying
we know the salary of the president now.
900,000 as a minister.
Special advisors earn 800,000.
So that's what
special to the president, not to governors, not to. So we know what even the president, how much does he take home? So
it's legitimate for something to be done.
You know,
about their wages. It's the allowances that constitute the elephant in the room.
Dangerous.
Those allowances.
Dangerous.
Those senators and also their wages are not really high. But the allowances run you mad.
And especially the one that they call security votes.
All right. The trouble on the plateau in north-central Nigeria is yet to abate. In fresh violence, about 23 persons have been burnt beyond recognition in Chisu village, Mangu local council of the state. The attack took place about 11 in the night, when majority of the villagers had already gone to bed, while 15 people were killed in Chisu. 8 were massacred in Bua community. Let's hear from the governor on this.
Recent records have it that more than 267 people, including women and children, were gruesomely murdered by militiamen between the months of May to date. About 50 villages across Mangu, Barkiladi, and Riam local government areas of Plateau State have come under incessant attacks. The efforts of the security operatives in tackling the invasion have been questioned by some leaders of the affected communities and individuals. The state governor met a few weeks ago with the warring Fulani and Magavul stakeholders to discuss measures to avert further attacks in the areas. Worried by the persistent invasions, Mr. Mufan also visited President Bola Tinubu to seek federal government intervention on the killings in the state, as he revealed in a gathering in Jos.
About 16 to 20 villages have almost been cleaned up. And the attacks have continued unabated. We have taken some steps, we have put some measures in place, but I'd like to promise Plateau people that by the grace of God, this situation will be arrested.
Some stakeholders in the state we spoke with shared their thoughts on the situation and the way forward.
We pray and believe that the president will look into our plight of having state police, because once we have state police, we will be able to police our own environment, our own community. We'll be able to know who is truly ours and who is the enemy.
Where these things are happening are in the rural areas. So the current service chiefs and heads of security agencies must come up with a strategy that will be operational in the rural areas.
And my appeal to Mr. President and the new service chiefs to please put their searchlight on the Plateau, because Plateau is still boiling.
To put an end to these recurring attacks in some of the Plateau communities, the security operatives must come up with new security approach on the situation, as well as all hands must be on deck if we must achieve this. From Joshua, TVC News, Jos.
Today, it's not today that this Plateau crisis all over, especially places like Rio and local governments, you know. Back in Ladi, they come. This is Mangu now.
Mangu.
And I think it's time we have to look into this.
Is many communities in Plateau State have been completely destroyed and renamed by the invaders. Destroyed, the original inhabitants chased away, renamed and occupied by new people. Can you beat that?
After killing.
After wasting them, I know a retired ambassador in our country. I know a retired ambassador in this country who can no longer go to his village because the village has already been occupied by new people and renamed. This is the truth. How did we get to a situation in which people will come from foreign lands and kill our people, render their communities desolate, and then take over those communities? As I've said before, it is possible to put an end to these killings. It is possible. It's just that we've not taken the right steps. And the president, having now appointed service chiefs, must declare the deliverables to them.
Honestly.
Eyeball to eyeball.
Can't just be a general, chief of army staff, or anything. You want to sit down there and...
No, these are your deliverables. This is your KPI.
Yes, even Inspector General of Police.
Everybody.
This is internal
Everybody,
security.
that's how it's done.
Yeah.
And that's why when people see signs that they are failing, they don't even wait to be shown the door.
Honestly.
They resign. In our country, they will fail. Even the CNC will be the one to keep them in office for 5 years. Come on. Enough is enough. People have failed at the duty that you've given them. The world is abusing you. And you keep them in office in perpetuity. Who does that now?
For 64 months.
You keep them in perpetuity?
Service chiefs were in the office. After even
are they politicians?
After their retirement age.
Yes. No, you see, the statutory is even unconstitutional to keep people in office beyond their statutory age of retirement. Oh, service chiefs, they got extension the first time. After they got extension, you then kept quiet. You didn't give a second extension. You kept quiet because you knew people would complain about a second extension. You kept quiet and just left them. And
they went on and on and on.
Past the age of 60, you still left them.
Those who contacted
and we were not
society
seeing, we were not
owners,
seeing
and they
results.
were advocating for them as like politicians. They should continue in office.
Look, why is it their fault? It's not their fault. Even the CEC does not even show a desire to let them go.
The National Assembly passed a resolution. Yes.
That we were failing. No action. Now, you cannot, Mr. President must realize that, look, these people, you must give them deliverables. Otherwise, we will challenge Mr. President to.
At the end of the day, yes, the
yes,
stops on
you must give them deliverables.
Yes.
And they must be seen to be performing. They must be seen to be getting results. Otherwise, we will ask Mr. President what is going on. That's our job. As journalists. Yes, that's our job.
Can't continue to kill
people. How can you kill 23 people in just a few days? Where is it done? And the next thing, they will be thinking of who to kill next. And nothing will still happen.
This situation is quite unusual. And because people are not there, you can't feel what they are feeling. Just look at the national.
Sometimes a whole family wiped out.
Yes, yes.
I mean, if you attack people in their sleep, you are likely to kill everybody.
Of course, because you are entering.
And these people, they kill women and children.
Largely.
Largely, that's what happens.
Largely. And it's also...
Somebody sent me a message, said, please help us. These people want to wipe us out. They want to, this is like a Scotch-head policy. They want to destroy all of us so that we don't exist anymore. Nigeria holds it an obligation to these people to not let the invaders who want to wipe them out of existence succeed.
Yeah. And it's quite obvious that these people they are quite organized because they know when and where to attack. It means they also have their own intelligence.
How they will beat security posts here and there,
military checkpoints. You know, that was why when some people were alarmed when the Benue State governor came and said he was going to dismantle military checkpoints. Because he said they weren't serving their purposes.
The people are even asking now that soldiers should leave their community.
Yes. Because they weren't, because
what they're asking.
Once these guys move in, you won't find the soldiers. Like BKO said, I think right from the service chiefs to their commanders at the state level, they should be held responsible for some of these things. They should be held accountable. Because that's why they are all there. You have the police, you have the army,
civil defense.
You have civil defense, you have all layers of security. Yes, we've advocated several times on this program. There is need for more recruitment. But even until when we can do that, can we do more of intelligence gathering than just response to attack, kind of policing and
reactive,
you know, we are just reacting. When an attack happens, you move men into that village. Those people have moved.
Where they are moving,
those people have moved to another place. And once they attack there again, you go there. So it means there is no intelligence. Because these people, like BKO said, they are sophisticated and international in nature and operation. So how did they move in and then we're unable to track them?
All right. We'll take this breather. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back after this time out. Don't go away.
Hello, darling.
Hi, Grandma.
What did you do this weekend?
Well, on Friday, I went on a science trip with my classmates to see the gorillas in Rwanda.
Huh?
Then, I watched the Cup final in London with the family. And on Saturday, my friends and I met up to hunt dragons again. Yes. Also, I taught the vacuum cleaner and the TV this new dance everyone's doing. They're really getting into it. And on Sunday, I went to bed watching the world from space. And you? Yes, so Grandma.
With Airtel 5G's lightning-fast speeds and seamless connectivity, you won't believe what's next. You're heading home from work in the busy traffic. Your car breaks down. Car horns blast. Your car is pushed aside. You call for help. Phone battery blinks and dies. You take a cab. Few miles, tire bursts. What a day. Frustrated, sweating, and tired. Nearing home, darkness envelops the street. Wow! Just one house is bubbling with life. Brilliant lights, loud music, smiling wife, all welcome you.
We alone have light?
Yes, it's JRB Solar Energy Systems, my anniversary present to us.
No matter how dark life is, the sun is gonna shine on everything you do. JRB solar inverters, batteries, solar panels, solar street lights and more. Telephone 0906 752 1111. Email sales@jrbsolar.com. JRB, the sun is gonna shine on everything you do.
New beginnings are always colorful. When we celebrate the start of life's journey, we marry in colors. With our proudly Nigerian Dulux paints, now available in any color. Express your world however you want it. Visit a Dulux color center to get any color instantly.
Dulux, let's color.
Thank you for staying with us. If you're just joining us, this is Journalist Hangout, your favorite news and current affairs program, live from TVC News here, from our headquarters here in Lagos. And I still have Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Dotun Oladipo in the studio today. Now, one of our viewers just sent a message, and he was saying that during the time of President Muhammadu Buhari, that we were praising from President Muhammadu Buhari, and I said, look, at no point in time did we praise President Muhammadu Buhari on security. I remember back-to-back editions of Journalist Hangout that they were killing people up north, they were killing people, bandits were killing people all around. At no point in time did we cut that administration any slack. So get your facts right.
Where the government deserves praise, you will praise. If he bought weapons for them, for example, you will praise him. On the occasions when he bought weapons for them, I praised him. Now, people, some faceless civil society organizations, even petition TVC, that Babajide was working for the enemies of Nigeria.
I remember that
Remember
time.
those who went on social media to say I was friend of Shekau.
I remember that time.
After the kidnap of the Kankara boys. So people have a little sense of history. They won't remember that at the point they felt that I was an enemy of the army.
Enough.
Because army will claim that it repelled attack, I will come out to say it's a lie. You remember when I was in Maiduguri, and I came back after the Boko Haram took over Baga. You asked me that question. Despite the fact the army claimed that it had repelled the attack, you asked me, Babajide, you are just coming back from Maiduguri. Who is in Baga now? And I told you, Boko Haram was in control of Baga at the time. The people who claim that they repelled attack, if you give them the Quran, they cannot swear that they repelled any attack.
The fishing community.
Yes, the boys were there for a long time. For a long time. They even took pictures inside the war room of the military in Baga. They sat down. They were mending their tires. They sat down. They took pictures of themselves. So people will not remember those times. They don't want you to praise people even when they achieve something. When we started making progress in Borno State, I was the first to say yes. We started making progress. I went there to assess the progress by myself. I took risk, and I came back to say yes.
And when it was very difficult.
So what are we people talking about that we were praising him? We are. Many people even felt that we hated the president. Only those who are committed to the truth will not think Babajide, oh, he's an enemy of APC. Remember when they were calling me tomato journalist now? Silly people. What is a tomato journalist? For a story that I caused to be written on tomato, we won an award. TVC won an award. Because at that time it was very expensive, countrywide.
Good out of hand.
Yes, and we needed to respond. It's my job. Our job as journalists is not to please people. It's to say the truth. Look at somebody when he saw all those tanks in Borno. He says, you mean we have all these tanks? Those tanks, a good number of them were bought by President Buhari. Does he not deserve praise if he bought weapons for the army? We challenged him to buy the weapons.
Yeah, for that time.
Yes, we challenged him.
Yes.
At the National War College, with generals looking at me, I challenged the president to buy game-changing weapons. That's the thing. So, but our people, sometimes we just, you see, social media, to keep your sanity in place, sometimes just take a flight from social media. That is why the journalists who sit in their studios, who do not know Nigeria, who pick up stuff from social media and use it to ask questions and use it to say absolute rubbish on air, they are the ones who are addicted to social media. When was the last time they did a story? Have they ever done a documentary? Do they even know our country? How many places have they been to? So we are not like those ones. We are practical journalists. We go to the most difficult places. Oh, you said you started work in Mambila. We went there to show that you've not even built a road leading to the place. That is who we are.
Now, when you look at the situation now, life has become so cheap that these reports, you can't even go to the tomorrow or maybe headline, you'll find the stories. And if it happens elsewhere, a state of emergency can be declared.
Becoming used to the news, every life is important. That's why in other countries, people are proud to say they are citizens there. Because an American life can't go to waste anywhere. The government will move in. No matter who is involved, that life must be saved. We've witnessed American operation in Nigeria. And we saw it was only one man.
Just a farmer.
Only one man needed to be rescued. So it has gotten to a stage where we need to realize that the consequences of what we are doing to all these communities that have been attacked, especially the agrarian ones, will keep haunting us
for a very long time.
For a very, very long time. Because nobody wants to go out again. People are indoors. In all of those villages, I'm so sure that in the past, people will still be outside doing tales by moonlight until about that 11, 12.
Most communities...
You know what some people do now in some communities? They just do farms in front of the houses.
In front of the houses?
They can't go inside.
They can't go inside. Where they're going to get plenty harvest.
I was even told that people come together in the community, that we'll go to your farm today, maybe 50 people at the same time. Tomorrow we'll go to your farm. You can't go to the farm solo.
Yes, they can still kidnap those ones. The people, these days now, what the bandits do in Katsina and other places is they will approach the community. They will say, okay, as a community, this is what we want from you. You must pay. So the levy is determined by the size of the community. This is not fiction. It may look like fiction. Based on the size of the community,
they have their own FIRC.
They will also appoint a district head. So that district head, they will tell you, this is the person that you will deal with. That's what Bello, Tuji and Co are doing. Deal with this. This is the person that I've appointed. Sometimes they kill the substantive district head. They will install their own and tell you to interface with that person. If for any reason you fail to pay, oh my God, the reaction can be very brutal.
Governance in those areas.
Well, yeah, of course, so many places. There is no president. The roads are not even good. So even when they raise the alarm, before you get to the place, they've nearly killed everybody. No roads. So why? But banditry is a big challenge that this administration must deal with. As we are dealing with the issue of the economy, banditry, you have to deal with banditry.
All right. Most times, intentions can go a long way in bringing positive impact, according to the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Richard Montgomery. Businesses in the United Kingdom have begun to respond positively to the first policies of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, including fuel subsidy removal and the unification of foreign exchange rates. He stated this when he met with Vice President Kashim Shettima at the State House, Abuja, that the policies are important to attract investment into Nigeria. Let's share the story by TVC News' Femi Akonde.
It appears President Tinubu's participation in the new Global Financing Pact in France is off to a good start. He has held meetings with the staff of the Nigerian embassy to structure his schedule and engagement with other world leaders and foreign investors that are eager to do business in Nigeria. The introduction and implementation of some audacious economic policies in just less than 1 month since he assumed power may be sending the right signals to investors.
Mr. President's policies in the last 3 weeks really have encouraged these foreign nations and investors to become more interested in the affairs of Nigeria, in shoring up the economy of Nigeria. So a lot of them are quite interested. So many of them have even indicated interest to meet with Mr. President in this trip. At the last count, about 3-4 different heads of states of developed countries.
As President Bola Tinubu hopes, his engagement will be productive and will return investors' confidence to Nigeria. Back home in Abuja, Vice President Kashim Shettima also met with the British High Commissioner to Nigeria. They talked about strengthening the Nigeria-UK relations and improving trade ties between the two countries.
So I think we already have a very good economic dialogue, but I think there's a great potential to do more. And as I discussed with His Excellency, the big economic decisions being taken by this government are really important, and they're being noticed around the world. The removal of subsidy, the exchange rate reform, all of that creates a much better investment environment. And I was in London last week. I was briefing my ministers, but I was also talking to British business in the finance, banking, investment sectors.
It might be too early for the Bola Tinubu presidency to count its successes, but it is getting praises for the early steps taken so far. Femi Akonde.
For a very long time, these institutions, the IMF, World Bank, they've been clamoring for this removal of Morgan. Yeah. And for a long time, we've not been able to find a lasting solution. And now they're saying with even the closing of the parallel market,
convergence of the foreign exchange
markets. Now, because the difference before was so annoying and alarming, so annoying. The fastest way,
subsidizing dollar.
A multi-billionaire, just give $1 million at 410, and the person will go to town. You doubled it.
You know, one minister told me that he traveled with the president, and they wanted support, financial support, and their host told them, "No, you don't need support. Huh? You are giving subsidy here and there. You don't need support. No subsidy for forex, subsidy for electricity, subsidy for petrol. Really don't need support. You don't look like people who need support." He told them to their faces. You know, I think it was the VP that they traveled with, not the president. So they were telling us what we needed to do, but which government after government did not have the courage to do. Because we must tell ourselves that some of these measures are very painful.
Extremely painful.
But they are inevitable if we want to set Nigeria on the path of real progress. Because a country is spending 96% of its receipts to service debt is not a country on the path of progress. That's a fact. There's no economist that will tell you that, oh, that shows you are making progress. No, you are not. You are not. And a good chunk of what should actually come to us as revenue is what we were using to pay subsidy with over-bloated claims, over-bloated consumption level.
Even non-existent.
We never got the accurate figure.
Claims.
People who make subsidy claims will say they want to bring vessels of PMS into our country. They will divert it to Benin Republic and sell it there. Some were even selling it outright on the high seas. You know, some of them were jailed. For so long, people were stealing.
Some of them fled the country.
Yeah, people were stealing.
The Igboje panel.
Yes. That was a much deeper work than the one that the House of Reps compromised itself while doing. And we had the issue of keeping dollars inside cap. And all that. So now, the Forex situation is one of the biggest problems that ensured that foreign direct investment was not coming into our country. You, Ayo Zubagu, cannot get up from here to say you want to go and invest in South Africa, and when it's time to repatriate your money, want to repatriate your money to your country, then CBN tells you, sorry, we don't have.
Emirates left because of that. Emirates.
Now,
until tomorrow.
So many companies have suffered. We are the worst. When you are looking at trapped funds, we are the worst. Trapped funds. Now, if you are hearing that people's funds are being trapped in Nigeria, you bring investment into the country at a certain rate. Look at it this way. I was asked whether it makes sense. You bring, let's say you brought the naira, the dollar was let's say it's 460 when you brought your investment to the country. At the time you wanted to repatriate, because of the volatility of the exchange rate market, you then get it at a rate lower than what you brought in. Will you be happy? Now, this convergence will ensure that we achieve stability, because there is no sacred cows anymore. In the past, we were having a different rate for schools. We were having a different rate for Hajj and pilgrimage to Jerusalem. You know, we are having a different rate for manufacturers who want to bring in imports, so or raw materials. But now, even the federal government is subject to the I&E window. That is where everybody will trade, and they will find a kind of equilibrium on a given day. That will be the rate. Today, it's gone up to like 7 something, but ultimately I don't know what. I look at 709 the last time I checked, but down. I know that it will eventually.
Weeks ago it was some 55.
Yes, it will crystallize at. No, I'm talking about that IE window.
Okay.
The new
investors and
exporters window, where they are all trading now. So now it will eventually stabilize at maybe 600 to 660. That is what JP Morgan has predicted. Yeah. What we need is stability in that market. Once we have stability in that market, investors will have the confidence to come back. Right now, given the volatility, nobody wants to come and do business in Nigeria. So many big people have withdrawn their business from Nigeria and gone back home. So once we achieve that, even the dollar inflows, you know, once you have stability and more people are coming in, that dollar liquidity that is a big problem for us, we will be able to solve that problem.
Yes, foreign direct investment.
And you know why we will also be able to have dollar liquidity? Because a good number of people were keeping it simply to trade with it. They will now know that it makes no sense. Because the disparity that they were enjoying.
Before it used to be 300 and something.
Look, let's even look at before the president took the decision. 460.
460.
Then
one hand.
To 768. Look at the gap. That is, it will only encourage people to trade.
Just $5,000.
Yes.
With $5,000, you get...
Dotun, we want to bring in raw materials for his pharmaceutical company. He will not be able to lay his hands on. He needs it badly.
Yes.
The people who
but if you are connected,
they will not be able to get it. Bank staff will be encouraging people to say, don't you want to travel? It's your BTA that they are targeting. They will do business with you based on your BTA. So the president has said, no more avenue for cheap trading with the currency. He said it, and he has done it. See, it's probably the step that has gladdened these foreign investors, the IMF and the rest of them the most, because they know that at the end of the day, people will be able to access the dollar much better than before. And once we have that stability, Nigeria will be a good place to come and do business in.
Like the envoy said, it's a good signal that this administration just sent out, and a lot of people will take interest and they will know that we mean business.
I really quite agree. I really, really quite agree with that position. Because that stability is what we need. If no one is sure that doing business here is safe and secure, if I bring in $1 million,
can't get return for investment.
I want that $1 million to still be there at that rate. Don't let it be devalued. It's the devaluation.
I will be owing people,
and then don't also let it be trapped. IATA, on that, we are not good in their rating.
At all.
Extremely bad. And who wants to trade in an unstable environment? And
we have the traffic. We have the traffic.
Yeah. A lot of people do not really know or don't appreciate when you see a leader who understands the basics and can see beyond the protests and the immediate gain people are seeking to enjoy. And I think NLC too must be saying it now. Or maybe the leadership is being forced to see it. Because ordinarily in the past, when you have removal of subsidy by a certain percentage, what they keep demanding for is increase in salary. They now know that that increase is also still going to bring inflation. So what they are looking for is something that can cushion the effect, which is far better than pushing for a salary increase that is also going to increase inflation. Because it's our way of life. When you go now, you'll see that the transport sector is settling down. When the subsidy was initially removed, some went stable as high as 200% increase. They've come down. What it means now is those guys who used to take home the kind of interest or wages from this transport sector that is not commensurate with the service that they are rendering, they now know that they must cut down on the profit that they make. And that's why things are settling down. For instance, short distance, like maybe in Lagos here, from Ogba to Bega, at the time the increase came, it went to 200 naira. Now, from 100 naira to 200. That's come down now. Sometimes you see them take the same 100 naira or maximum 150. Because people are not going to patronize you. So as Nigerians, we are also coming to that realization that I must not make excessive profits on what I traded.
The number of cars plying the different routes just
good, and people will they will say, I will leg it. If it is too much, I will leg it. And so, it's just the reality of our situation. And we must begin to look at the positives, not just the immediate negatives. Some things are going to come up. And we have to keep dealing with those things. For instance, July 1, there will be an increase in electricity tariff if we are not careful. What can government do in that regard? Those are the things we should begin to look at. And we, at some point in this country, get to a situation like the telecom sector,
Actually, that sector is also subsidized as the electricity power sector.
The power sector
Yes.
is subsidized.
So
even the current tariff is not cost reflective.
It's not.
So the Gencos cannot make their money.
They are not.
Discos.
The Discos, sorry.
They are not. It's not cost reflective, and government has subsidized them with billions, hundreds of billions. Naira, you know, so that's also they've also told us to do something about that. They've advised us.
40% increase from July 1. So we must be.
They'll continue like that on an increase.
I know when I want to leave. I know when I want to leave my house. I must
exactly. You must put it off.
Switch off my fan.
And investors will not come into the sector
they
when
will not.
they can see that it's not.
Can't make profits.
They can't recoup their investment.
How can, for example, let me just give as an illustration, the cost of producing electricity is 35 naira per kilowatt hour, and you are charging 18.
Like
That's the sort of situation. Yes, that's the sort of situation that we've been in for many years. So, government can continue.
Government can subsidizing. It means gradually we are going to get there. Everybody, it's not tough time. We are going to begin to adjust gradually.
Yes.
Because when we get it right, eventually, just like the telecoms when we started, the tariffs were much higher than we are paying now. Before, when
I know that even the fuel price will come down.
It will come down.
Because of this war in Ukraine. That is that war that led to higher this thing?
When we started with telecoms, a text message was about 10 naira. Now we pay about 4. So it means with competition, we're going to get it right.
All right. I want to thank you, Dr. Oladipo. Thank you for your contribution. And Babajide Kolade, thank you. Thank you for always being there. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. And you can watch us tonight at 11 p.m. And we are on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. See you tomorrow, and God bless Nigeria.